Hey there, it's Gypsy. Well, this week I am talking about the Empress card, number 3 in the tarot. I am super excited to be doing this video. I have discovered during my week of studying the Empress card how much I really love this Empress card. I really connected with this card on the motherhood, nurturing, fertility, type of energy. I actually think of it more as like prosperity because it's a card of abundance, I guess you could say, of not necessarily of wealth. And when I say prosperity, I don't mean making lots of money. I mean in the sense of many blessings, having plenty, having a lot, plentiful. That is kind of what the focus is of the Empress card, generally speaking. Again, I'm not doing definitions in these videos. I'm just talking about art for these. I did do my little scorecard as usual, so you can see here I've got my scorecard all set up with my famous Waite traits that I look up in the cards. I also took some notes, and so I'm going to kind of go through them. As usual, I am working from 78 Degrees of Wisdom by Rachel Pollack. In fact, I got so into this week's thing, I completely highlighted my book all over the place. There was just so many good things. I really got into the Empress card this week. It was really exciting. I also got another book, which I haven't brought this into the series yet because it's still by Rachel Pollack, but I just want to give a shout out real quick because I'm all excited. I got the new tarot handbook by Rachel Pollack. Yay! So, anyway, I haven't really gotten into it that much, but I do have it, and I'm going to start reading it ASAP, because I'm not gonna lie, I already read the Empress chapter in there too, and it's good. She doesn't go into the kind of detail that she goes into in 78 Degrees of Wisdom, as far as the background and all the history on the cards. So I am still, this is the one I'm referencing. This is what I'm talking about whenever I refer to Rachel Pollack said blah blah blah, or this symbolism means this. Anything that most of the stuff I'm saying in here is reflecting, her book and her words. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. Oh, one other thing. I actually finally purchased the Rider-Waite deck. Yes, I did. I have it right here. Here is the box. It's already torn up because this is actually a box I bought for Rue. So technically, I still don't own the Rider-Waite, but I did purchase it. But I did purchase it for Rue because she really wanted it, because she wants to study the real tarot, she says. Anyway, she's clearly not listening to her mother, because there is no, if you want to go real tarot, you're going to have to go all the way back to 1450, okay? But whatever, I'm not going to go there. The Empress, here she is. This is the Rider-Waite Empress card. There are a few things that stand out here. First of all, as I mentioned already, she obviously has to do with prosperity, with fertility, with abundance. She's obviously got a lot of life around her. Life is all around her. First of all, I just want to say there are a lot of Waite traits for the Empress. I listed quite a few. I'm going to tell you what they are really quick, and then I'll talk about them a little bit more before we get started comparing. First of all, she's obviously a female. All the Empress cards are pretty much female. There's one exception, and I'll show you. If you think real hard, I bet you can guess what it is. If you remember the High Priestess, think about it. I bet you can guess which deck I don't care for the Empress card for either. There is a river in the background. The river represents the force of life, and the fact that it's always moving forward and it's always changing. It's always going to flow. So it's just like life itself. It's always going to keep going and going and going. It never stops. The stars. She has a crown on her head, and on that crown are stars. I actually gave the crown was a point, and I gave bonus point for the stars. And in fact, Rachel Pollack points out in her book that the stars, there's actually 12 of them, and those represent the 12 zodiac signs. And something that she has on her neck, and I'll go ahead and tell you now, I didn't count it into the scorecard because no one else had it, is this necklace. It has 9 pearls on it, and those 9 pearls represent the 9 planets. So that's an interesting little bit that I would have never ever known had I not read Rachel's book. But interestingly enough, none of the cards that I have in my collection that I'm showing actually have that necklace. None of them do. I didn't catch if there's a representation of 9 anywhere else, except I believe it's the Paulina Tarot. It's either the Paulina or the Joie de Vivre, one of Paulina Cassidy's decks. She actually has 9 stars, so the 9 planets are represented, but it's not done as a dozen, so it's not the zodiac, but you'll see that when I get to it. We also see a lot of growth. Down here at the bottom, we have the stalks, this grassy stuff. This is actually, I believe this is wheat here at the bottom. The Empress is also referred to in some places as the corn goddess, or she is thought to represent the corn goddess. She also represents motherhood and fertility. Rachel Pollack refers to her as a full-figured woman. It's kind of hard to tell here as far as how voluptuous she is, but, you know, she is wearing kind of it's really shaky. I just had coffee. She's obviously healthy, you know, she doesn't skip meals. And so that's one thing that she pointed out, you know, she represents, you know, voluptuous womanly figure, you know, the Rubenesque, you know, woman. You know, she also in that way represents passion. And I see the fact that her dress is covered in these red pomegranates, and she's got this red satay thing that she's sitting on here. You know, these things represent passion because they're red. And I also noticed on her dress, if you look really closely, those are actually pomegranates, which again represent fertility and, you know, plentifulness. And so, you know, that's another symbol that we saw in the High Priestess that we see again here with the Empress. She also has a scepter in her hand, which, you know, is a sign of royalty and of position. And so that is something that we see in several of the cards. The shield. She's got this shield here representing her strength, but it also has the sign of Venus on it, which is a female sign, which, you know, I guess, you know, it also kind of emphasizes that feminine energy. So there's the Empress card. That's the standard. That's where we're going to start from. I'm going to go ahead and start with the highest scoring card, the weightiest card. Well, no, I'm not. I lied. I'm going to do my old cards first, because I always do. And then I'm going to go in order from the weightiest card to the least weightiest card. So I'm going to start with the Visconti. This actually rated a 5. It got 5 out of 12 points. And you can see right away it's much plainer. It doesn't have near the background information, I guess, that the Rider-Waite card has. It's got a pretty simple, I love the shiny. I think it's interesting to note that she's wearing green gloves here. Now, I don't have an authoritative book on the Visconti Tarot at this time in my life, but we see she does have the shield. Don't y'all love my nail polish? I did it just for you guys. There's my manicure. Go ahead and get it out of the way. Green gloves. You know, I don't know if that is supposed to be symbolic of, you know, kind of like the green thumb thing, nurturing, you know, again with the prosperity. I'm guessing that that's what the color green represents here. Anybody feel free to comment. And she's got her crown. She, again, you know, it's really kind of hard to tell because there's so much dress here, but, you know, she's not a starved woman. She is healthy and well fed. So there you go. So she's female. Another thing that was a common trait, and I forgot to mention this, was the fact that she's sitting down or lounging. Almost all of the Empresses are either sitting down or lounging. And so here she's also sitting down. The other deck from around that same era is, of course, my Minchiati deck. And here that is, right here. Now, this is a pretty simple Empress. I also want to note that in the Minchiati deck, and I mentioned this in the High Priestess, there was no High Priestess. There was only the Empress. The Empress is the number 2, whereas the High Priestess was the number 2 in the Tarot. In the Minchiati, it's a little different since there's no High Priestess. The Empress is number 2. So anyway, she's got her scepter, and she's got her full garb. And again, we have a healthy woman. Instead of strength, as far as a shield, she has a lion. It looks like a lion here next to her, and I find that pretty interesting, as that, you know, mirrors the actual strength card. So that's kind of a neat little observation there. She's got her crown, and she is sitting down. So again, the Minchiati deck got a rating of 4. The third old card I have is the 1751 Marseille deck. And this one, again, we don't have a lot of signs of growth, but it's starting to peek out a little bit more. You can see right here on the side, there's a little bit of grass here. And there's a little bit down here. So we do see signs of growth that we did not see in the earlier cards. I have an itchy nose. So, and then we also have, again, we have the shield, which is very similar to the shield that we saw with the Visconti deck. It has that lion, the griffin, you know, which I guess could still be seen, you know, it's still a sign of strength, even though it's not the sign of femininity. You know, like we have here, we have the actual lion. Here we have the lion type animal, you know, the liony fantasy animal on both of, the liony fantasy animal on both of these. She does not have a scepter. She does have the scepter. Oh, that's not the wrong way. She doesn't have a scepter. She does. So that's also interesting to note. She has a scepter here, whereas she did not have a scepter. And then she also still has the crown. She has the, you know, the Empress dress. And again, now this girl looks like she got a little more meat on her. You know what I mean? You can see a little chub in her cheek. And she's got that rosy glow that, you know, the Pregos have. She's got that glow. Can't really tell if she's got a bun in the oven. It's kind of hard to tell here, but she definitely, you know, looks like she could probably breed just fine. Alright, those are my old cards. Now for my new modern cards. The weightiest one of them all was, surprise, the Illuminati Tarot. This got 12 out of 12 points. This scored all the regular points as well as the bonus points. Here it is. This is actually one of the coolest cards in this deck, in my humble opinion. It is just... There is so much to look at, and a lot of these cards, there are a lot to look at. I mean, that's just the nature of the Illuminati Tarot. They're mind-blowing. They're a visual overload. It's incredible. So here we see that Empress with her awesome hair and her awesome dress. She has all of the elements. All 12 out of 12 points are there. She has the crown on her head. She has the 12 stars that go around the crown that represent the 12 signs of the zodiac. She has her scepter. She has her bundle of wheat. Where is it? There it is. She has her bundle of wheat. It's hard to see this in the camera. She also has her shield here on the side, and then she has the sign of Venus here. She has this red sete, and I noticed when I started really comparing these side to side, that red that we see in the Rider-Waite deck is her sete. Here, it's actually her gown. It's part of her dress. So I thought that was kind of interesting. It's still got that red color, that passion that takes up a lot of the card. Another thing she has is the pomegranates. They are actually still on her dress. If you can see in here, she has kind of a tapestry on her dress, and it is a tree that bears this pomegranate fruit. It's a pomegranate tree. So she's got it all. She has got every element. She also obviously has, you know, the forest and the grass behind her. The river is back here running in the side. I mean, this is like almost exactly, it's just a trumped up, super fancy version. But I mean, her position in the deck, the background, I mean, everything is there. It is all there. So I love this. And this is actually my second favorite representation of the Empress. So I will show you my very favorite as we go along, and believe it or not, neither one of the Paulina Cassidys made it to the very, very top. They're in the top 5. Both of them are, but that's not my favorite tonight. Okay, so next is actually the Joie de Vivre Tarot by Paulina Cassidy. And here we see the Empress. And again, you know, it's kind of a carnival-y Wonderland type version of it. One thing I like a lot about this card is the fact that she has the skulls represented there. You know, the Empress represents the, you know, life, the cycle of life, the birth of life, but this also kind of represents, you know, the end of life. And so I thought that was kind of interesting. She also, you know, she's still got her shield that she has here, and it's got the sign of Venus. She also has her crown. Now, this is the one I was talking about. It's a little bit different in that she's got 9 stars here, which represent the 9 planets. She doesn't have 12, so there's no representation of the zodiac, but she does have the 9 planets. So there's that. She's got her scepter, and of course her scepter has the triple moon on it, so I really like that. She's standing on a moon, and that's something interesting to note because we're going to see that again. All of these little guys down here in this little blurry patch, those are pomegranates. So we still have the pomegranate represented there. And then, of course, she's got all of the flowers. So she has the flora and she has the fruit. So there is the Paulina Joie de Vivre Empress, and I absolutely love this card. This is definitely in my top 5. Next, we have the Tarot of the Magical Forest. That one actually, oddly enough, only scored 7 points out of 12. There were 2 of them that scored 7 points. This is one. This one had 9 points. The Joie de Vivre. This had 7. We don't see the universe represented on her crown. And I also thought it was interesting to note on this one, she does not have a river, she has a road. You can still perceive it in the same way in the fact that it represents, you know, ongoing, something keeps going and going, just like like an endless highway. So I can see that. I don't really know what the point of changing it was, though. I mean, you might as well paint it blue. We do see the sign of Venus down here. She doesn't have a shield, but she does have the sign of Venus. Her sete is red, so we have the representation of passion. We also see that she is a voluptuous little empress. She actually does have that aspect because she's a wee piggy. And then she has her scepter and she has her wheat down here. I don't see any fruit in this card, so she didn't get a point for fruit. But this is a cute little representation of the Empress. Next we have the Paulina Tarot, and of course this is in my top 5. This is a lot to look at, kind of like the Illuminati Tarot was. It's a lot. So we do not have her sitting down. She is standing up. But just like the Joie de Vivre Tarot, I noticed she's got her standing on a moon here as well. Standing on a crescent moon. She also has the pomegranate, which is up right here. And she does have stars on her crown and her headdress. But if you'll notice, it's a whole lot of stars. It's more than 12, it's more than 9. So it doesn't represent the planets or the zodiac. But it still, represents the universal energy. She is holding a peacock, and there is a cat here, and I know that those have significance for Paulina in this deck. I'm not going to go into, the symbolism in each individual deck, because I'd be here for hours. But as far as the Rider-Waite comparison goes, she does definitely have some of those elements, but, it is very different. But I love it. I think it's beautiful. I love looking at her artwork because there's so much to look at. This is the Deviant Moon Tarot, and this scored 5 points out of a possible 12. Here we definitely see that she is capable of nurturing life because she has 4 teats. That's a little freaky. But, whatever. It's cool. She has this awesome tail that actually is a manifestation of the life that she provides. And you can see it looks like her tail coming out here, but it turns into this flower that's wrapped around her wrist. I think that's a beautiful way to represent her life-giving powers. She also has a field of, other little flowers back here in the background. She is wearing a crown, and though it doesn't represent the universe necessarily, but it is a cool card. I like Deviant Moon Tarot. I like that deck. This is my favorite Empress card. This is from Ciro Marchetti's Legacy of the Divine Tarot. And I absolutely love this. I would love to have this original artwork actually hanging on my wall. I love it. I've never seen, until I got this deck, I'd never seen a pregnant Empress. But why aren't they all pregnant? I don't know. They should be, because how are better to represent fertility than to have a prego Empress? But whatever. Here we see everything represented. She is master of all the elements here, and I love that. She's got, air, she's got water, she's got earth, obviously, with all of the plant life. In the background, there's kind of a glow, and she's blowing these seeds off into the, into the universe, and they're kind of glowing. So I don't know if you want to call that representing a fire or not. It definitely shows that, she is not only growing life and nurturing inside of her, but she is also nurturing the plant life and, helping the seeds to travel and to find, their place as well. So definitely my very, very favorite card as far as the ones that I own, that I have access to. This is my favorite. The Archaeon Tarot is next, and the Archaeon starts off the things that started with it, scored a number 4. So going forward until I say otherwise, these all have 4 points out of 12. She has a crown. She has fruit up here at the top, and she has flowers over here, and she's a female. So those are her 4 points. But I really like this representation of the Empress. This is actually one of my favorite cards in the Archaeon deck. I actually use this deck mostly for guys, and I don't really know why. But I like the fact that she looks so young. That's you know, and a lot of these, you know, she looks youthful, I guess, in all of them. But I don't know. This one just really strikes me. I like her face. I just think she has a pretty face. For the record, by the way, these are flowers. These are lilies. When I first saw this card, I thought they were teeth, and it kind of creeped me out. And then I realized later that they're actually lilies on a vine. So, in case you were thinking that too, they're not teeth. It's not creepy. It's actually pretty. It's flowers. All right, next is Ciro Marchetti's Tarot of Dreams. Again, I really like this representation. I think that, you know, the way that he actually made her a tree, I don't know if you can tell, but she's standing here very stoic, and she has this, she's grown into the ground. She has, her bottom half is a tree that is actually growing, so, you know, making her really, truly, you know, the Mother Earth representation. She's also holding a baby, which I love. I love the fact that she's holding a baby. There's not a lot of Empress cards, again, that have a baby, but this one does, and I love it. So that's really cool. Also, she's got the fruit, you know, she's got the food at the bottom here, and then obviously she's surrounded by plants, so that's a no-brainer. She does not have a crown. She does not have a scepter. She's not royal looking. More of the, you know, just a motherly look. You know, and so I like this one. This one's a little bit older looking. She doesn't look quite as young as some of the other representations, but, you know, the fact that she's holding a baby, I think that, you know, in this particular card, I actually kind of like her because she has a little look of wisdom to her. And, you know, if you're going to, you know, if you're giving life to things and bringing things to life, you're not exactly going to be a fool. You know what I mean? You're going to be a little more on the High Priestess side. So I think this is a good combination of, you know, youth and vitality, but also with a little wisdom thrown in there. So I think that's a really, you know, I don't think I give this card enough credit. I really do like this Empress card. All right, next is the Shadowscapes Tarot. Again, we're still working on the 4-point cards. Again, Stephanie Fui-Moon Law and Barbara Moore did an excellent job with this deck. I think it is absolutely gorgeous. She's got the perfect circle around the sun, representing the circle of life. She also has it in her wreath in her hand. And, you know, I counted this actually as the sign of Venus, because if you really look at it, the way that the ribbon flows, it does look like the female symbol. So I counted that. I gave her credit for that. I love the butterflies. You know, we saw the butterflies in some of the other, especially in this Legacy of the Divine Tarot. It had butterflies in it. And we see those in a couple of other cards as well. But I think this is beautiful. She's also got fruit here in this basket, so she did get a point for having, you know, some sort of fruit. Definitely a beautiful, beautiful representation of the Empress. Next we have the Steampunk, the Gods, Wisdom of the Gods and the Machine. I really like this one because it has that representation of the uterus again. I like the uterus cards. This one, the baby is still kind of like in utero, but it is external. It is part of the machine. This living, breathing human woman is giving life to the machine. I love that. I think that's a very cool representation. It's hard to see, but there's actually tubes coming out of her, you know, womb, I guess you could say, into this, or from her real womb into this artificial womb up here. And I think that's really awesome. We also have representations of life, flora and fauna. Not fauna, I'm sorry, flora down here. We have pomegranates in these two circles, and then it looks like fern leaves and things like that down here in the ones further down. And then here actually, and I just noticed this looks like a little mechanical hummingbird. My camera sucks so hard, but this is like a little hummingbird that's nurturing this plant, oddly enough, kind of through the bulb. I don't know what's going on there. It's a sign of life. Leave it at that. We also have the male and female energy represented here, you know, which I think is kind of interesting. You know, you've got to have male and female energy to create life, I guess, is the thought process behind there, to create that balance that's needed to sustain life. So we have that represented standing on either side of her. Very cool card. Next was the regular Steampunk Tarot by Barbara Moore and Allie Wood. And this one I really like. I have a like and then I have a dislike about this card. I really like the fact that she has that voluptuous kind of look to her. She's got that belly, like she's got the baby bump. You know, I like that a lot. Obviously, she has her symbol here. You know, the clock on the wall is kind of interesting, you know, indicating the passing of time. However, what I miss in this card is having a sign of life besides this. There's no flora, there's no fauna, there's no fruit. We have her hand here that shows that she's got power. But when I think of the Empress, I don't think of magical zap power. I think of growth and you know, fertility kind of power. So this one doesn't really work for me in the same way that the other ones do. So I'm like, yeah, with this one. Tarot Vampires. Here, you know, I mean, she's kind of dark looking, and she, you know, you can't really see her whole body or anything, but she does have signs of life around her. She's got the apples up here, and it's even got a bee on this little apple right there. It's impossible to see anything on here as far as detail. She also does have quite a bit of red. Oh, we do have the red. I didn't point that out. She does have plenty of red around her, indicating that passion. She's got lots of passion. She's laying on it. It's hanging on the ceiling. I'm on the wall. She's passionate. And this one, the red is a little bit more subtle. She's got her red flower. She's got a red ring on. And then she's got the red vampire lips, obviously. And then she's got this little red pendant that's on her necklace. So the red is definitely represented there, as well as, you know, the signs of life that she's, you know, bringing to everything. So this is a pretty card. Not one of my favorites, but I like it. This one I kind of like. This one kind of grew on me slowly. This is the Tarot of the Hidden Realm. And this is actually, this one got 3 points. This is where we're switching into the threes. She's got the apples. She's got the fruit. She has the wheat in her hand. So, you know, we got us a corn goddess here, guys. And then, of course, she is female. So those were her 3 points. She does have a butterfly here, like we saw in a couple of the other cards. Also, you know, the butterfly is kind of a reddish color. Her hair is red. And so I kind of take that as being, you know, the representation of that passion. You know, redheads are stereotyped as being fiery personalities and being very passionate about things. And so I think that is represented here through her. Okay, this is the one I don't really like. This one is, let's see, this one got 3 points also. This is the other 3-pointer. They went and did it again. They left out my character. I'm going to let you guess which card this, or which deck this is. I'm going to let you guess which deck this is. Yes, it's the Hobbit Tarot. What's missing? The Empress. Now, I know there's Empress energy. I get it, okay? The grass is green. The mushrooms are growing. There's signs of life all around them. You know what? It's just not enough for me. I want more than that. I want to like this deck, but they got to quit leaving the women out. I'm really getting tired of the women being missing out. There were women in the Hobbit. You know, the Empress. Why aren't I seeing an elvish woman here? Why isn't this an elvish woman? Why isn't this a pregnant little hobbit? Where are the women? The Alchemy Tarot. This one kind of reminds me of the Steampunk Tarot in that it's very, it's so simple that it's kind of missing those signs of life that I like to see. I mean, granted, the Hobbit Tarot has the signs of life, but that just wasn't enough for me. This one does not have the signs of life, but this one has something interesting. This one, she's holding a cup. And we don't see that a lot. You know, there has been signs of water. We've had the river. There's nothing coming out of this cup, but we have it, which to me tells me it's representing that emotion, the compassion that one would feel as, you know, as a mother, as someone taking care of someone else, nurturing something, even if it's a plant. You have to have, there's got to be some sort of an emotional, you know, tie to something in order for you to care for it enough to make it thrive. So I get that. I really like that aspect of this card. I think that even though there's no red, the fact that there's a candle there with the, you know, the fire burning, fire, you know, indicates to me energy of passion. and proactivity, getting things done. And so I kind of like that about this one. She does not have a crown. She doesn't have a scepter. She doesn't have a shield. There's no sign of Venus. There's no pomegranates. There's no flora or fauna at all. There's nothing signs of life other than her. So again, I kind of miss that about it, but it's a beautiful card nonetheless. It's an absolutely beautiful card. I like to see some green in it. Same thing with this one. This is Sierra Marchetti's Gilded Tarot. Again, it's very simple. She does have the sign of Venus here, so it's a very feminine card. I think that the main message she was trying to get across here was, you know, femininity, feminine energy. Because, you know, we don't see a lot of, you know, we still have the red passion, but we don't really see anything growing. We don't see that she is nurturing anything specific. But she is definitely a representation of the feminine energy. So in that regard, it was a successful representation. I want to see some grass growing or a flower or something. Maybe an apple. I don't know. Alright, next is the Wildwood Tarot, and this is the Green Woman. Again, you know, they always got to rename their stuff. So in this deck, it is the Green Woman. Obviously, there's plenty of signs of growth and life here. That's not a question at all. She still has on her red dress, so we see that red passion. I also like her belly. I like her chubby tummy. I appreciate that. It's nice to see that. So I like that. You know, and that's the kind of tummy you have when you're not necessarily pregnant. That's what you have after you've had kids. So I like that belly. You know, it's not a cup, but it is a cauldron, so it can represent, you know, that compassion, that energy of feeling, you know, that we see in the other one. She's got these cool little creatures on either side. Again, I'm not going into the meaning of things outside of the Rider-Waite system, but those are cool and significant. I don't know what this little guy's doing. I'm going to leave y'all with that. It just has a come and get you some kind of thing to it. And then, of course, in last place with 1.5 point is the Inner Realm Tarot. You know, I got to tell you, I'm starting to wish that I hadn't put this in the series because I don't really think it's fair. It's not that it's not really fair to compare this to Rider-Waite because it is a very different deck. So I'm just going to say now, I'm leaving it in the series. It's probably never going to score high on the Waite rating. I don't really think that matters. I'm starting to warm up to this deck. This card kind of, you know, is helping me move forward with getting this deck. I do like this card. It doesn't have all the stuff that I've been talking about that I like to see. I appreciate it for what it is, which is, you know, it's its Inner Realm Tarot self. It has the words promise, femininity, creativity, and assurance on it. You know, which, you know, are very accurate. They're accurate words to use on this card. Very appropriate words. But, you know, it is very different. She does have this star up here. You know, she's got this divine light that's kind of coming down. This could be, you know, the inspiration, the creativity. The colors that are in the card itself are kind of blues and purples. You know, it's a very relaxing card to look at. It has very relaxing, very calming energy. And so I kind of feel, I want to say, it's like I feel this card more than I see it. And I'm starting to think that's the idea behind the Inner Realms Tarot. I'm a little slow on the pickup, but that's okay. But like I said, I'm going to keep this in the series, even though it's so different. It's never going to score high. It never, ever will. But I'm already used it. I'm already on the 4th card, and I'm kind of digging it. So I'm going to leave it in, because you never know. This might sway me. I might become an Inner Realms fan. So that is the Empress. That's all my Empresses says. I hope you guys enjoyed my analysis and observations of the Empress card. Please feel free to leave comments and or make a video response of some of your own cards. Chris, I'm going to put a link down below, has been doing some great video responses to me. I really appreciate it, Chris. Thank you very much. So anybody else out there that wants to do it, since you can't tag it, please let me know if you make a video, and I will go watch yours and comment on it, because I love hearing feedback. And I love seeing other people's decks, especially if they're ones that I don't have. So you all have a great weekend, and blessed be. Sorry. Love the shiny. Okay, sorry.